Good morning, I'm Judge Frank Caprio. In over 3 decades on this bench, I've seen it all: the excuses, the frailty of human nature, the regret. But what unfolded on this particular Tuesday morning in my courtroom, well, that was something that not only challenged the law, but insulted the very fabric of democracy. Imagine, if you will, someone who not only holds an office, but becomes the office itself. A man who, when confronted with justice, doesn't see it as a principle, but as a transaction. A man who looks at the scales of justice and sees only a price tag. Today we aren't dealing with a mere traffic violation. We're about to uncover the layers of arrogance and entitlement of a sitting mayor. A man who swore an oath to serve his people but stands before us, denying his very responsibility. It's October 24th, 2024. The city of Providence is crisp with autumn air, but inside courtroom 4B, the temperature is suffocating. The benches are full, but not with the usual crowd. No, today the room is packed with cameras, high-priced lawyers, and a sense of political gravity that weighs down every corner. The case? The city of Providence versus Mayor Richard Sterling. For over a decade, Mayor Sterling's face has graced every billboard, his name on every bridge, every building. He's a titan in the city, wearing a suit worth more than most people earn in 6 months. But he's not here to cut a ribbon. He's here because, on the night of September 12th at 1:15 a.m., his black SUV was clocked speeding through a school zone at 85 Medi Nafi, an area where children walk every day. But it didn't stop there. He ignored 3 red lights, nearly struck a delivery van, and when he was finally cornered by a patrol car, he didn't apologize. Instead, he rolled down his window, puffed cigar smoke in the face of a young officer, and handed over his gold mayoral pin. "Do you know who I am?" he sneered. "This car doesn't stop for red lights. This car owns the road." The courtroom is silent. As I stare at him, sitting comfortably on the wrong side of the law, I see something chilling. A man who believes the rules don't apply to him. He's forgotten what it means to be a citizen, to answer to the law as we all must. To him, this isn't a trial, it's an inconvenience, a performance he can buy his way out of. Power is a dangerous drug. It blinds you to the very people you're meant to serve. And today, we're about to find out whether the title of mayor is a shield for corruption or if the law can still bite those who think they're above it. Mr. Sterling, you stand charged with reckless endangerment, felony speeding, and most shockingly, abuse of public office. How do you plead? He doesn't even stand up straight, leaning casually against the podium, a smirk plastered on his lips as though this is just another routine. "Judge," he says, dripping with condescension, "let's not waste any more of the taxpayers' time. We both know how this ends. I built this city, I fund this court. Let's have a real talk about who's really in charge here." The room goes cold. This isn't just about a speeding ticket. This is about the soul of our legal system. I look at him, letting the silence hang in the air like a thick, toxic fog. "Mr. Sterling," I begin, my voice steady but firm, "you are suggesting that your political status grants you ownership over the public roads, the safety of our children, and the very institutions meant to hold you accountable. Is that your official position?" He laughs, a short, dry bark with no joy. He spent 12 years being the most powerful person in every room he enters, but now, for the first time, he's encountering someone who isn't afraid to say no. But today, we have evidence that proves that power without accountability is tyranny, and Mr. Sterling is about to face the consequences of his arrogance. Before we continue, let me share more about the man standing in front of me. Richard Sterling wasn't always like this. He wasn't always the man who thought he could own a city. There was a time when he walked these streets as a humble city councilman, the same streets where people now look up at the billboards of his face, wondering what happened to the man they once trusted. This city was once a dream for its people, a symbol of opportunity. But when Sterling rose to power, he quickly learned that power doesn't come without a price. And as his influence grew, so did the cracks in the system. For the people of Providence, the story of Sterling isn't just about his rapid ascent, it's also about the citizens who fought to make their voices heard. I look out at the gallery today, and I see people who have been affected by his decisions. The families of the children who walk that school zone every morning. The parents who feared for their children's safety every time they crossed the street. People like Martha Gable, who lived on the very street Sterling decided was his personal road. And then there's Officer Jenkins, who put her life on the line to do her job in the face of a mayor who thought his position could buy him immunity. These are the faces that remind us of the value of justice, the ones who never stopped fighting for what's right. As I sit here, I realize that the man before me is not the leader of this city. He's a man who's long forgotten what it means to serve. The mayor doesn't see us as equals, as citizens. He sees us as pawns, as obstacles in his path. But in this courtroom, the only hierarchy that matters is the one that begins with the Constitution. As we continue, I introduce the key evidence, the body camera footage of Officer Jenkins' interaction with Mayor Sterling's vehicle. The images on the screen show the SUV speeding through the school zone, ignoring stop signs, nearly striking innocent lives. And as the footage plays, we hear his voice, the arrogance, the entitlement. This car owns the road. The law doesn't care about your title. The law doesn't care about your wealth or your connections. The law cares about justice. Sterling's defense, however, is just as chilling as his actions. He tries to rewrite the narrative, to spin his recklessness as a necessity of leadership, to frame the officer's actions as a career mistake. It's a typical tactic of the corrupt. Rebrand a crime as a contribution. But this courtroom isn't buying it. This is about more than one man's arrogance. This is about the system, about the very foundation of our democracy. A system that says no one is above the law. Now, the twist. I open the folder in front of me, the Sterling legacy file. I lay out the documents for all to see. The very donations Sterling cited to defend his actions. They came not from his personal wealth, but from funds meant for public schools and park maintenance. And while he was speeding through school zones, he was siphoning money that was meant to ensure the safety of those very schools. The look on Sterling's face says it all. The mask of invulnerability slips. The city he thought he owned is now slipping from his grasp. In the end, it's not about just convicting a mayor, it's about restoring balance. This is the moment when everything shifts. The arrogance of a man who thought he could buy justice has met its reckoning. As the room grows quieter, I look at Officer Jenkins. You did your job, I tell her, and you've just proven that integrity is the only thing that stands between power and corruption. In the months that followed, the scandal sparked a ripple effect. The FBI investigation into Sterling's actions led to the resignation of 4 other high-ranking officials. The very system Sterling sought to control has now begun the process of healing. This is what happens when power is checked and balanced by the people it is meant to serve. And as I sit here today, I know one thing is clear. In the end, the law always wins. No one is above it. No one.